Welcome, gentlemen. We'll start with one of the biggest factors in the elections of 2024. In fact, it's been the big factor in the last 10 years, but now we're looking at it more closely than we have in the past. Women are finally at the center of elections, and we believe that they could be the swing factor in the 2024 elections. The rise of the women factor is one of the most important developments in India's elections. In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, for the first time, more women voted than men. 67.1% versus just 67% of men. Marginally ahead, but a significant number. In 2024, the female turnout in West Bengal was the highest among all states, 83.3%, whereas it was just 81.6% of men. Now, in a country where men are more likely to vote as compared to women, we're going to look at how this trend has changed. Let's look at the turnout of women in the first 6 phases of the elections. There you have it, gentlemen. Very high turnouts, almost equal to, and in 2 cases, 2 phases, more than that of the men. Ajit Kumar Jha, you're a numbers guy. Tell us what you're making of these record numbers of women turning out to vote.
See, Sandeep, for the first time in the history of India, 1962, we got a disaggregation of male-female voters. Before that, we didn't have.
That's right. Women didn't even matter for a disaggregation.
That's right.
Right.
In 62, the gap, what we call the gender gap in turnout, was a high 16 to 17%.
Right.
Okay. It went up in 1984 when Rajiv Gandhi won with that massive majority.
Right.
That gap was reduced to 7 to 8%.
Right.
That's when I wrote this article, Women's Political Party, in the paper I was working for that. So since then, women voting has been going up.
Right.
In fact, in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and other states, there was a massive turnout of women, more than men, in the assembly polls, for example. So 2019 was the first national election, Lok Sabha election, where the women turnout touched and went higher than that of men. Now, think of it.
Historic.
17% gap, and here the women are voting more.
Marginal. What's it going to be like in 2024?
So the growth in women empowerment or voting is much more than that of males, and that, I think, is the big sort of a story. Now, of that, it's BJP, which at one time used to seem to be a male-supported party, was called the patriarchal party, is now getting more votes from women than men.
Right.
And we noticed that in 2019, almost a 2% national average.
You have the numbers right here.
There you go. 44, 46.
The rise in the women voters for the BJP from 44% in 2014 to 46% in 2019.
No, in 2019 itself, the male voter...
it was more than, they outstripped the male voters in 2019.
By 2%. Whereas look at the others. It's less, the other way around, 29, 26. Right. So more males are voting others than...
So this is the big phenomenon here. And I'm going to bring in Karthikeya on this point. You know, Karthikeya, targeting women voters has been a state election level kind of thing. Jayalalitha has done it in Tamil Nadu. Nitish Kumar has done it in Bihar. But is the BJP the first national party to appeal to women from the center in terms of the schemes, Prime Minister Modi's messaging, whether it's the Ujjwala Yojana, it's Drone Didis more recently? Tell us how the BJP has targeted women voters for the last decade or so.
I think BJP has been more successful in showcasing the attempt.
Right.
Political parties have been targeting women as a voter. Now, if you look at Uttar Pradesh, I would say the successful example is of Mayawati.
Yes.
And you see, I was reading an article today on women voters, so the idea which people generally get is, if there is freebie, the women will vote for you, but that's not true. That's one thing. But when we talk about women voters, it also depends on the outlook of a political party, not the programs and policies. For example, in 2021, I was with Jayant Chaudhary, and I had gone out then to cover his rallies, which were promoting communal harmony. Then those rallies were called understanding rallies. And then I realized that very few women were there. No women. Only men were there. Muzaffarnagar, Shamli. And subsequently, when I went and attended a rare Mayawati rally, a lot of women were there.
Right.
A lot of women came out on their own. They were sitting. Even in Congress rallies, the front portions are being generally they are earmarked for women.
Right.
So it also depends on the political party. For example, you go to Haryana, you'll find a lot of men.
Right.
Women are herded in a corner, and that's about it. But in Mayawati's rally, you will find women freely moving around.
Yes.
Even men are ordered and women are ordered
Right.
in a way that it allows safe movement of women from the house to the rally ground and back to their houses. So that is one part why women are coming out in larger numbers. Larger numbers nationally.
Right.
Because at a level of state, as you said, that there were political parties who have been targeting them.
Yes.
Women as one
With
voter.
schemes and with freebies.
So
and,
this brings us to the question whether women are voting on self-aware issue of gender,
Yeah.
or they continue to vote on caste and religious line.
Right. Right.
Secondly, do women in a house vote differently from their men? I don't know whether any audit has been done on that.
Right.
That in the same house, a man has voted for a party
Yes.
and woman to another political party. So I think slightly complex, but one or two chief ministers have really made a difference to their career. For example, the cycle Yojana of Nitish
Yes.
and Ujjwala that was introduced by BJP government immensely benefited BJP in 2017.
Yes.
But at a national level, I think it's far more complex.
Right.
Women as beneficiaries, because
Right.
I don't think that women as a common gender entity has emerged in India. If that would have been the case, then our socially and culturally freer and more modern Northeast
Yes.
would have seen far more women legislators, far
and
more.
chief ministers even.
There have been assemblies
Right.
where there have been no women member.
Yes. Yeah,
No,
that's a
no.
paradox in the Northeast. But I want to bring in Anil Verma on this point. Dr. Verma, look at the high turnouts of women in the last 6 phases. Do you believe that this is a vote for change? You think women voters are actually going to swing the 2024 elections in either way?
Sandeep, I do not know whether it is a vote for change or not, but certainly it is a demonstration of the democratic balancing of our electoral process.
Right.
And this is one very important thing that we have to remember, that from where we have come, 1951 to
Yes. And 1962, in fact, yes. Right.
To this election, there are a couple of things which come to my mind actually. One is that education has made a tremendous difference.
Yes.
Earlier, women were not educated, and that sense of self-empowerment was not there, and
Right.
therefore they were very much, pushed out of whenever there was a movement out of the house. That
Yes.
is one thing.
Yes.
And because of this, education, they have now moved into the domain of public services. Like in most of the services, you find women very freely now going, because now they are educated. They have a claim on different, and they are very capable also.
Right.
If you have any knowledge of the organizations, we find that the women workers, women employees, they are very, very dedicated to their work. And many corporate groups are actually very much inclined to do this kind of gender balancing in their entire recruitment process.
Yes.
Because women are very dedicated, whether it is home or whether it is their workplace. So that's the reason that now they are moving out. And
Right.
that moving out beyond the 4 walls of their domestic, things,
Yes.
that has given them a sense of empowerment that
Right.
they must go to the booth and vote.
Sense of
Besides
empowerment,
many other
mobility,
things.
women,
Yeah.
the mobility that women enjoy, the greater mobility that they enjoy, that's now translating, as Dr. Verma mentioned, into increased turnouts and increased voting. But Ajit Jha, this point of women almost equaling the men in terms of turnout, and possibly 2024 they could even increase their numbers as compared to 2019. Do you think this is going to make a major impact in
No,
these
it's a
elections?
major impact. If you run the last graphics once
Yes, can
more,
we have those graphics?
I'll just show it to you.
On the turnouts, yes.
Look at the 5th and the 6th phase.
Yes.
Look at the difference between men and women.
Right.
In the 5th
2%,
phase,
yes.
1.5% increase.
Yes.
In the 6th phase, 3% increase.
Right.
Over the first 4 phases.
Yes.
So you can see, and think of it, this is a national average.
Right.
When you do a national average, Sandeep, what tends to happen is if some states are very high,
Right.
then that comes down because you get an average.
Yes.
Right. So that is a very high gender gap on a national average.
Right.
2019, 2%. Sixth phase, we see 3%. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, if you look at the assembly elections that were recently conducted,
Right.
Madhya Pradesh had a gender gap of 6%
Yes.
for the BJP. That
Right.
means in favor of the BJP.
Right.
Women, 6% more women voted compared to men.
Yes.
If you look at UP last assembly election,
Right.
again, 3% more women voted for men. You know, this typical yogis program of Gundai Band Karo.
Yes.
That, used to affect women a lot outside
Right.
colleges. All these gundas would be standing. So all these anti-gunda activities brought in a lot of women voters.
Right.
So I think it's a very important change. And then finally, let me point out that one of the scholars who has worked on this area,
Yes.
Rita Verma Williams, based in Ohio, Cincinnati,
Right.
she has written a whole book on it.
Yes.
And her argument is that why the BJP has succeeded,
Right.
whereas the other political parties have failed in getting more women voters,
Yes.
is because the BJP is a conservative party.
Yes.
It did not destroy the family structure.
Yes, yes.
The BJP activists, women activists were sent to the
Right.
doors of these families, and they said, look, the men can't enter the household.
Yes.
They stop outside the door, whereas we go inside.
Right.
So all these sort of women Panna Pramukhs would go
Right.
and ask the women to come and vote.
Right.
And then she points out that this whole notion of using religion as a public space,
Right.
as political space, that brought in a lot of women because women
That's
go into
right.
mandirs,
Absolutely.
women do puja at
So
home.
that's
so
where
the
the
BJP tried this
has
conservative,
worked in that,
which
yes.
is counterintuitive to
Right.
radical feminism or
Right.
liberal feminism, right?
Absolutely.
So this I think is an extraordinary.
And there are studies
change.
which actually suggest, Ajit, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are studies which say that early on, women tended to vote the way the family kind of, voted. But of late, there's been a divergence, and the number of women who've, if it was in the 80% and the higher 80% that they would vote with the family, that number's been steadily decreasing over the last couple of years. It's the last numbers were for 60% or something of them. Women would say that they would vote with what the men folk told them. So the chupa voter is now coming out.
I would say that instead of women voting differently from the family,
Yeah.
my understanding is that women, because of education, a sort of awareness of
Yes.
rights, and also change in the attitude of men.
Yes.
I mean to say, we have to understand that, two makes a pair.
Yeah.
And also because of the change which has been brought,
Yes.
in the way the boys are being, giving education by
Right.
their families and, be sensitizing them about male gaze,
Right.
how to respect women,
Yes.
how to look at them, the false notions created through culture or imbibed values, not imported values, I would say imbibed values. I think women in your household are also able to now influence a larger worldview.
Yes.
First, it was the father who was influencing
Absolutely.
the larger worldview.
Yes.
A woman in the house was maybe influencing your food habit,
Right.
or religious ethics,
Yes.
or social ethics. But I think she's also influencing your larger political value.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the change
That's
has,
where the change is. In
That's
fact,
where the change
and
is.
we'll know exactly 4 days from now whether the women voters will swing 2024. That's all we have time for in this segment. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Anil Verma, Karthikeya and Ajit Kumar Jha. Continue to join me on the next segment where we're going to be talking about Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh. 10 seats from Haryana, 13 seats in Punjab and 4 in Himachal Pradesh. The 3 North Indian states have an interesting combination of different political parties in the mix. Let me start by introducing my guests for this segment. Mr. Ramneek Mann, political analyst from Punjab, who's been following all 3 state elections. Ramneek, welcome to Countdown 2024. And of course, Karthikeya and Ajit Kumar Jha continue to join me. We'll start with Punjab and Haryana. Punjab, interesting contest there. Congress, AAP, BJP, Akali Dal and also independents fighting it alone. So some of the prominent candidates in the fray, of course, are 4-time MP Praneeth Kaur, former Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi, 3-time MP Harsimrat Kaur Badal and Ravneet Singh Bittu. I want to start by asking you, Ramneek Maan, Punjab, a state where the BJP candidates finding it difficult to even canvass. Is this a straight fight now between AAP and Congress with the BJP literally out of the picture? Or do you think that there is a silent wave somewhere there that's actually going to make this a three-cornered contest?
See, I'll tell you how it is. And the real situation on ground in Punjab is very different from what people are assuming outside of Punjab.
Right.
Now, see, there is a divide in the votes per se, the upper caste Jat Sikh vote and the lower caste, let's say Mazbis, or the scheduled caste or the BC votes.
Right.
So that divide is very visible this time.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the more the upper caste farmers, the Jats are opposing the BJP,
yes,
the more, let's say, the entire backward class or the Mazbi class, or as we like to call apna Mazbi Paichara or Dalit Paichara,
right,
is aligning with the BJP. The master stroke of the dark horse, I believe,
yes,
is played in the shape of Gijaram Balmiki. Gijaram Balmiki is the president of All India Balmiki Sabha.
Right.
And he is contesting from Fatehgarh Sahib, which is a Panthik seat person. And he has made quite a dent. And this is for the first time that you see that the farm laborers, the lower caste people in the villages also.
Right.
They're saying कि यार इन्ने साल जट्टां दे मगर लग के सानू की लभ्या. What did we get? Getting after these upper caste land laws. What did we gain?
Right.
So there is a huge divide.
Right.
When it comes to the upper caste and the lower caste, there's a huge divide when it comes to the farming community and the farm labor or the Mazdoor labor per se. So this is something which is working very strongly in an undercurrent manner. In my opinion, will feel that seats like Hoshiarpur, Jalandhar, Patiala, Ludhiana, and Fatehgarh Sahib.
Right.
So there are 6 seats: Gurdaspur, Jalandhar, Hoshiarpur, Fatehgarh Sahib, Ludhiana, and Patiala. So these 6 seats, it's pertinent to mention that BJP is putting up a very good fight in these seats.
Right.
Where I feel after the last time they can actually go ahead and increase their numbers.
Right.
There were BJP seats last time. It can go forward this time. And as far as the Panthik vote is concerned,
yes,
what needs to be seen very clearly is that there are the Khadur Sahib seat is supposed to be a Panthik seat.
Yep.
So there, Amrit Pal is contesting from Khadur Sahib.
Right.
And the other seat that we can say, which will be interesting to watch, is Sangrur.
Right.
Because Sangrur is the seat from where Bhagwant Singh Maan used to be the MP before he became the Chief Minister. And they lost it to Simranjit Singh Maan. And I believe the Aam Aadmi Party may again lose this seat, Sangrur.
Right.
So this is how the equations are laid out in Punjab.
Interesting fights there, Ajit Kumar Jha. 4 parties all fighting on their own: Akali Dal, AAP, Congress, and BJP. Do you believe that the BJP has a chance here in this quadrilateral fight that Ramneek was talking about, given the fact that they won just 2 seats last time? They were fighting in alliance with the Akali Dal. Farmer protests 2.0, what kind of impact would it have on Punjab?
See, my understanding was that the BJP will do very well in the urban areas.
Right.
I was
That's
thinking
more traditional
Amritsar and Patiala and those kind of seats, After all, the Indian ambassador to the US is contesting.
Taranjit Singh Sandhu.
Taranjit Singh Sandhu. So I thought that's where the BJP's edge lies. But then what he's pointing out, it's the rural areas, and actually it is the so-called the poorer people. I'm
the laborers,
wondering,
the farm
because
laborers,
Punjab has one of the largest Dalit populations in the country. Almost 1/3 of Punjab is what Ramgarhias and whatever, right? So among them, if the BJP has a lot of traction, then we would be all surprised, because the overall picture from Delhi is that the main fight is between Congress and AAP, and that BJP and Akali are
number 3 and number 4.
Corners. So this, I think, is a very interesting point made. I was under the impression that in 2019 Congress won 8 out of 13. So my understanding was that the typical thing in Lok Sabha is Modi versus Rahul, right? So therefore, the Congress might have an edge over AAP, and especially given the fact that AAP is in a serious emergency situation with Arvind Kejriwal, almost going out of jail and coming out, and all those scandals. And similarly, Punjab under AAP it doesn't seem to have performed as well as expected, right? Punjab's economic decline is well known.
Pronounced.
Agriculture is in total crisis.
Punjab, quadrilateral fights, AAP in crisis.
I think Punjab, see, for me, if you ask me, I'll get the broader perspective. Punjab has had strong leaders.
Yes.
Leaders who have been able to represent Punjab across this country.
Right.
Pratap Singh Kairo,
Yeah.
Senior Badal, Amrinder Singh, Gyani Jail Singh. I can just go on and I can continue to name leaders where a person sitting in Bhopal, sitting
identifies
in
with,
would know, Acha, he's the big leader from Punjab.
Right.
What has happened in Punjab in last 10 years is an identity crisis.
Right.
Punjab, I'm not trying to demean a chief minister, but the stature which the previous chief minister enjoyed were at the national level.
Right.
Every person in India knew who the chief minister of Punjab was.
I think the last such chief minister was Amrinder, Captain Amrinder.
Singh. Yes. National figure. Everyone knew Amrinder.
Yes.
I mean to say, for example, even during the crisis in 1980s, Longowal, Arjun Singh, the top-notch people from the Congress went to Punjab and the top-notch people were there who were running the state. I mean to say, how many people would know in even my generation Pratap Singh Kairo's name? But I still remember it.
Right.
Not because I have read in history books, but their families are also part of the politics today.
Yes.
Though they are part of now, there is a problem in the SAD, the Kairo family. So saying that, I think there is a larger political issue in Punjab that you don't have a heavyweight politician right now.
The stunting of the leadership in Punjab.
Amrinder Singh is a retired politician.
Right.
He's a retired politician. You don't have that politician from Congress anymore.
Yes.
You don't have that politician from even BJP.
Right.
And I don't think the current Chief Minister of Punjab is able to step into those shoes. Right. That is why the change has taken place in Punjab. Right. This churn which took place in which the Aam Aadmi Party emerged, there has to be a reason because there was a churn in the society.
There's a vacuum. There's a leadership vacuum there.
There's a leadership vacuum. You're absolutely right. There's a leadership vacuum in the state.
Right.
And I really don't know how Punjab will react in context of Lok Sabha, but I definitely think Punjab may not go the Haryana way completely.
Right. Okay.
Haryana surprised everyone in 2014.
Yes, well, BJP was able to get the other...
Yes, simple majority. They got simple majority.
Chhattis Biradari.
There was no in Lokdal or the number of Lokdals which were there in Haryana. But I don't think that feat is possible for Bharatiya Janata Party in this Lok Sabha election.
Right, which is, and Ramnik Ban disagrees with that, of course. But Ramnik, quickly, 2 points. One is, of course, the timing of the elections in Punjab. I'm fully aware that 1st of June is the Operation Blue Star anniversary. Why would they choose a date like that for holding elections there? Do you think that's something to do with the sentiment that exists on the ground, or that's just a pure accident, this choice of 1st of June for Punjab? And secondly, will the farm agitation have any impact whatsoever on the outcome of the elections in Punjab?
So, number one, when you talk about Op Blue Star, so the date essentially is the 6th of June.
Right.
6th of June is remembered as Kallu Kara Day, or a day of genocide. So, 1st of June is about 5 days apart.
Yes.
Also, significantly, what is happening is that the Shiromani Akali Dal, which controls the SGPC, so they have given out a message. They've given out a call for remembrance on 6th of June, and starting today, from 1st to 6th of June, starting tomorrow rather.
First is, Ramnik, I must interrupt you. 1st of June is the date that Mrs. Gandhi ordered Blue Star, Op Blue Star.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's the
but
start of the,
what I'm saying is that, worldwide, 6th of June is the day when, it is remembered or marked as the Kallu Kara Day. Punjabi, it's called Kallu Kara, or, the day of
course, the massacre.
So 6th of June is the day when, most of the programs or events or road shows or, the kirtans, or ardas happen in Gurdwara. But if you go across Punjab and Haryana, you will find that there are several banners, posters, flexes with photographs of the demolished Akal Takht, with the photographs of the then leaders and dead bodies of Sikhs that have been put on display. And there is a call by Jathedar Akal Takht to wear a black turban during these days. as a mark of remembrance. So there is also the text, if you read it carefully,
Yes.
the name of Congress party per se is as such mentioned. And wherever there is an inclination of Panthic voters,
Yes.
that will obviously affect the psyche, the sentiment of people who will eventually vote for the Congress or not vote for the Congress. So that is one.
Right.
It will take effect. It will only go against the Congress party. So
Right.
let's be very clear on that. It's not going to probably favor Aam Aadmi Party or BJP, but it's definitely going to harm the prospects of Congress party at
Congress.
several seats. So what pertinent thing which I think was mentioned today was, yes, there is a leadership crisis. Yes, there is an identity crisis. It has been tried to mask or cover by giving advertisements in Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Bengali, Odia, Marathi, in every possible language to project Bhagwant Singh Maan as a leader of Punjab, which he is
Right.
not. Though he has been picked and chosen by Arvind Kejriwal, the leadership. His
Yes.
name was brought forward. The elections were fought under his leadership. But again, they don't have a very healthy relation when it comes to the Delhi leadership, because Punjab is being used like a colony by the Aam Aadmi Party leadership,
Right.
which is very clear in the minds of people of Punjab that the Delhi leadership of Aam Aadmi Party is exploiting the resources, the money
Yes.
of Punjab, and everything that you see in Punjab will be associated with some kind of a loot or some kind of an exploitation.
Right.
So these things will actually factor in, and what I mentioned, there
Yes.
is a divide. We always talk about polarization on the religious lines, but there is a divide amongst the rich and poor in Punjab,
Right.
amongst the privileged class and amongst those who are not so privileged.
So, Ramnik,
this
I must
will
interrupt you
actually
here. Sorry.
take effect of down.
How will the farmer protests impact the elections? I mean, how big
Well,
of an
see,
issue is that?
before the farmers' protest actually happened, post 2019,
Yep.
BJP was in a very good position in Punjab, and BJP had their cadres and their
Right.
leaders, and everything was in place.
Yes.
And they appeared to be in a very good position in the upcoming 2022 elections then.
Right.
But the prospects of the BJP were completely demolished by the farmers' protest or the
Right.
RTS protest, whichever you would like to choose, whatever nomenclature you like.
Right.
But the fact is that things have turned around very, very sharply when you see a divide amongst the rich upper caste farmers
Yes.
and the poor low land holding farmers. See, first thing is that Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi has worked very well.
Right.
Second is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has worked very well. The third thing is the Kisan Samman Nidhi, where small landholders are getting 6,000 rupees a year. People may not realize, or people may think it's a very nominal or very small amount, but it actually works in a family of, let's say, 5 brothers. Each is getting 6,000 per annum. It works out to about 30,000 a year for the entire family, and they live jointly. So things actually are working in favor when it comes to the lower strata.
Right.
And when you talk about the upper caste farmers, even they realize and understand. When you read the Congress manifesto, they say the farmers will be free to sell their produce to anyone they like. I mean, that
Right.
is essentially what the farm bills were mentioned.
Yes.
So the entire protest, or what the Congress is now saying, works out like a hypocrisy or like an oxymoron, because they tried to use it. They lost the elections. It was advantage Aam Aadmi Party. Now Aam Aadmi Party is not able to deliver on its promises, and people have seen both. And
Right.
interestingly, not to mention here, the Punjabis by and large have a habit of trying anything new. Even if it's poison, they will try it once to check whether it's bitter, sour, sweet, salty, what. So I personally feel that, this time people may be in a mood in 2027 to try the BJP. Because they understand the Gujarat model, they understand the UP model also.
So
because
who is the poison
believe me,
boss? Who is the poison boss?
Ramnik,
Ramnik, who is the poison then?
who's the poison?
Who's the poison? Nobody's the poison. The point is that the psyche is like that. You understand?
Right.
Now, once you, after the farmers' protest, people see Modi or people see the BJP as poison. So they might even, with the Yogi model. See,
Right.
law and order is fallen apart. Punjab
Yes.
has gone to the dogs.
Right.
There is no industry, there's no education,
Yes.
there is no employment opportunity. Drugs are, available like Zomato, Swiggy. There, people deliver drugs at your home. अब मतलब 30 मिनट के पिज्जा से पहले आपके घर में चिट्टा पहुंच जाएगा. That's the reality of
right.
Punjab.
Absolutely.
The law and order, people want good law and order. People want to see their children, their future secured.
Right.
Their next generation feel safe. The businessmen,
Ramnik, I'm going to have to interrupt you here. We have to move south to Haryana. Ramnik, we're going to Haryana, which went into the elections in the 6th phase to elect 10 members of parliament. Now, in the last elections, Haryana clean sweep for the BJP, all 10 seats. Haryana also has 4 parties fighting this time around. What's your sense, Ajit Kumar Jha, in Haryana?
See, Haryana not only has Lok Sabha today, but Haryana also has a assembly election.
5 months down the road.
And because of that, we've had a change in chief ministership, right?
Yes.
So it seems that BJP is being challenged increasingly.
Right. Yes.
According to me, if there is an alliance between the AAP and the Congress, then I think BJP has a problem in Haryana, given the fact that Haryana also witnessed farmers' movement, maybe not as aggressive as Punjab, but still it was one of the centers of the farmers' movement. But when I've heard Arvind Kejriwal claiming that Haryana assembly we are going to fight alone, so if the alliance on the ground doesn't work, and if there is no sort of transfer of vote between the two, then I think BJP will get the maximum seats out of the 10 again in the Lok Sabha.
10 seats for the BJP again, Kartikeya, in
I
Haryana?
think BJP is in a problem in Haryana. This is one state where BJP is in a problem because of 2 reasons. The first is the lackadaisical performance of Mr. Khattar in last 5 years. And that is why the chief minister was changed. And Mr. Khattar was fighting with Mr. Vij. Both of them were dropped. Vij is sulking. Khattar is still campaigning. That's first. The second issue is it has created a very strong consolidation again for the Jats. Earlier, if you recall, when Mr. Khattar was sworn in, there were riots in Haryana. And the entire Jat leadership came under criticism. That you have been ruling the state for last 15 years doesn't mean just because there is no Jat chief minister, you can't create a ruckus. It was an intensely political thing. A lot of political actors were involved. And people had to remind that even Bhajan Lal went on to become the chief minister of Haryana on non-Jat. Now, with the split in JJP and JJP falling out with Bharatiya Janata Party, there is a sort of a consolidation of Jat and Jat-led castes for the Congress party. So, Congress for the first time has come into fight in Haryana after 10 years. So, how much of that intrusion into BJP's massive vote bank, which stands at 58%, can be made, has to be seen. But if you win, these statistics become irrelevant. Because when you lose, then you lose hard. And when you win these days in the times of social media, you win big.
Ramnik Man, since you look at Haryana very closely, what are you reading from the ground? 10 seats to the BJP, or is it, as Kartikeya mentioned, the Congress revival after 10 years? Are they coming back big because of the Jat vote consolidation?
There is a fight.
No, see, yes, there is a fight undoubtedly, but you need to understand the Jat-Sikh vote, the Jat voters. They are not in favor of the BJP by and large. I mean, that is something you can say safely. But you need to understand, the Jat and Jat-Sikh voters are now being divided into JJP, Indian National Lokdal, and the Congress Party. And there is, let's say, you can't rule out completely that no Jat or no Jat-Sikhs are going to vote for BJP in Haryana. That may be very, very wrong analysis. So let's assume that 30% Jats, overall, Jats and Jat-Sikhs vote for the BJP, and 70% votes are split between Congress Party, JJP and Indian National Lokdal. So there is a divide in the anti-BJP vote, and there is a unanimity in the pro-BJP vote. There is also one very interesting thing which the gentleman just said. He said Bhajan Lal was a non-Jat. Bhajan Lal was a Bishnoi. He was a Jat Bishnoi. Bishnoi is a sect. People follow either 29 principles. Who follow 29 principles are Bishnois. So he was a Jat Bishnoi. So that's one correction you need to keep in mind when you discuss Haryana. Second, now what is important to understand is that there is a fight only on a few seats. The GT road belt completely is with the BJP. The Khadar area, the central Haryana is again with the BJP. The fight is primarily in the Bagad area and in the Deswali belt. Deswali belt is primarily some areas which are touching Delhi towards Haryana, Rohtak, Sonipat, Jajjar, Bhadargarh. These areas, which primarily again is the seat of Dipinder Hooda. Dipender Hooda from Kosli last time lost by a margin of about 74,000 votes, and he eventually lost by 7,506 votes. This time, his loss from Kosli will be even greater. The second seat where there is a fight is Sirsa between Ashok Tanwar and Kumari Shailja. So Kumari Shailja is giving a good fight. Let's see what comes out eventually. I'm not a poll pundit that I'm going to predict, but my analysis, there is fight primarily on 2 seats, where again it is advantage BJP. The only problem in Sirsa to understand is that Ashok Tanwar has switched many parties. He is now in the BJP. The previous MP from Sirsa was Sunita Duggal, and she defeated Ashok Tanwar by a margin of over 3 lakh votes. And she was refused ticket, and Ashok was given the ticket. So primarily, these are the factors which are playing in the minds of people. And there is also a quid pro quo between the SRK group, as we know, within the Congress, which is the Huda group, Kumari Shailja, Randeep Surjewala, and Kiran Chaudhary. This is the SRK group. So this group has been favoring the Indian National Lokdal from Kurukshetra, which is Abhay Singh Chautala. And in return, they are seeking their help or their assistance or their voters in Sirsa, because the Chautala family belongs to Sirsa. Their base is in Sirsa. So again, there are 9 assembly constituencies in Sirsa parliament, out of which only 1 is held by the Indian National Lokdal. So it is something which is very interesting to watch. But these 2 seats, I would say, if I'll stick my neck out and say that Rohtak, Dipender Hooda might lose again. So it is 10 on 10 or 9 on 10. At best 10 on 10, but it's 9 on 10 definitely. I don't even see it as people are saying 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 2. There's no chance of 8, 2. It is probably 10 on 10 or 9 on 1. That's all.
10 on 10 or 9 on 1? You mean 9 seats to the BJP and 1 seat to the Congress?
Yeah. That's right. That's
huge.
Dipender Hooda seat.
Yes, and moving on from Haryana to Himachal Pradesh, the cooler climes of Mandi, where BJP's Kangana Ranaut is fighting Congress's Vikramaditya Singh. Now, Himachal, as we know, 4 seats, all for the BJP the last time, 2 elections in fact. Very interesting contest here. Kangana Ranaut, first time MP, pro-right-wing movie star, has seen some big heavyweights from the BJP, including Prime Minister Modi, campaigning for her. What do you make of Himachal Pradesh?
Well, don't forget that in Himachal, we have a Congress government which just won last year and popularly elected, right? At that time, Himachal and Karnataka were supposed to be the great Congress victories. I basically see it as 2 versus 2 in Himachal. But Kangana, when you asked me, the fact that Kangana has so much star power, the fact that Prime Minister Modi, Anurag Thakur is practically running the whole campaign there. So obviously she has a lot of advantage, but then she is fighting former Chief Minister's son, who himself has been an important leader, and his father was a Chief Minister for my entire journalistic life that I covered Himachal. So I think we have a very tough fight out there. Given the fact that Kangana is a star and the fact that the entire BJP is behind her, chances that she might swing that seat.
She might swing, but what about the other 3 seats in Himachal Pradesh, Kartikeya?
See, Himachal, my understanding is after the defection drama, there has been erosion of Sukhu's authority. When he was barely able to get the numbers. So it's a Congress government in Himachal, but it's not an effective government. It's not as effective like Telangana. It's not as effective like Karnataka, where Shiv Kumar and Revanth Reddy can go cracking on both BJP, BRS, and Gaudas. So it's a kamzor sarkar. It's not a very strong government. The only advantage I would say, I'll just add on to it, is if Kangana loses, not because of Congress, it's because of she's actually fighting Veerbhadra's son. That's and Veerbhadra's son was actually forced by the Congress leadership to fight this election. He was reticent. Mother was about to leave the party. The last minute patch up took place. So that's one. And you see, there has been a state level erosion of leaders in Himachal and Uttarakhand. That's where the problem is. BJP has a cadre, Congress has a mesh of families. A lot of state level families, village level families. When they leave, the vote also moves out. So I don't have high hopes of Congress party in Himachal Pradesh or even Uttarakhand per se, because that leadership structure at the district level is very, very weak.
We'll just end by asking Ramneek about this. Ramneek, straight fight between the Congress and the BJP in Himachal Pradesh. What are the numbers that you're giving both parties?
See, that's always the way it has been. See, there are 4 seats in Himachal: Mandi, Shimla, Kangra, and Hamirpur. So out of these 4, 2 are primarily the Thakur seats.
Yes.
This is Mandi and Kangra. And Shimla is a SC seat, and Kangra is a Brahman seat. So the parties have played it well, but I would just for one moment disagree with the gentleman who was just speaking. So the popular vote difference between the Congress party and the BJP was less than 1%. It was less than 1%, which eventually swung in favor of the Congress party, and they formed a majority government in Himachal. And then there was a defection, and there was this whole drama where the BJP played a very important role. A lot of Himachal Pradesh MLAs were stationing in adjoining Haryana in Panchkula at the PW rest house, and they were being flown in and out of Shimla again and again. So my thing is, let's be very clear that Himachal is going to go BJP way 100%, and I have no doubts.
That's what I said.
It is going to be 4-0. It's going to be 4-0 in a direct fight in Himachal. So this is how I see it. Now, as far as Kangana's Mandi seat is concerned, see, as far as people of Mandi are concerned, she has a greater exposure amongst the masses. She's more visible to the people, either on social media, on mainstream television, or on the YouTube, or even practically, physically present in Mandi. So people in Himachal will always vote in favor of the BJP one time, and the other time they will vote in favor of the Congress. With the way, yes, the analysis is correct. The Congress government in Himachal, the Chief Minister, has been proven to be a weak government, to be a weak administrator, a weak Chief Minister, and a lack of central leadership. Never forget the Modi factor. The Modi factor will play very effectively in Uttarakhand, in Himachal, in Madhya Pradesh, in, the people like to call it the Hindi belt or the cow belt. Let's cover Himachal and Uttarakhand, the Pahadi belts also, in that breath only.
Right. So thank you very much, Ramneek Man. The Modi factor in the Hindi heartland and in the Pahadi belt as well, as Ramneek Man was saying, but we'll know just 4 days from now. But thank you very much for joining us, Ramneek Man, with your thoughts and insights, with which we come to what the 3 psephologists are saying, who we've spoken to, and they've given us the numbers. Let's see who they're choosing as the winner on the 4th of June. Now, our psephologists are Surjit Bhalla, Yogendra Yadav, and Prashant Kishore. First, listening to what Surjit Bhalla told us.
If the BJP vote share increases by 5%, it would likely win 334 seats. This is BJP on its own. With a 7% increase in their vote share, the BJP would obtain 347 seats. A 3% increase in vote share for INDIA will get it to 165 seats, and a 3% decline in its vote share will mean a loss of 28 seats, total equal to only 105 seats. Even a 7 percentage point increase in INDIA vote share gets it to only 207 seats, some 65 seats short of the majority, and even 2 less than what Manmohan Singh won for the Congress in 2009.
Now let's look at the numbers these 3 psephologists have been projecting. Ajit Jha, Prashant Kishore gives the BJP NDA more than 300. Yogendra Yadav has been increasing his numbers now to about 230 to 250, and Surjit Bhalla 330 to 350. He's called out all the elections until now correctly, right down to the last couple of seats. What do you make of these predictions?
Surjit Bhalla is my guru. Yogendra Yadav is my classmate.
Yes.
Prashant Kishore is a fellow Bihari.
Right.
I would, my own assessment is that the BJP will get between 300 and 330.
Right.
More like 315, 320.
Right.
If we want a range, I would have said 300 to 330.
Right.
So,
Guru, classmate and fellow Bihari. I'm going to remember that when I ask you, come back to you on the 4th of June, who you were with. But Kartikeya, what are your predictions?
I think it should be between 280 to 300.
280 to 300. Of
Maybe
course.
305.
That's
the
what
range.
our pollsters are predicting, and that's what our in-house experts say as well. 280 to 300 seats. Of course, we just have 4 days.
But it's a simple majority,
Yes.
It's a debate which has been set by Bharatiya Janata Party.
Right.
If you look at campaign
बार
manifestos,
400 पार.
अब की बार 400 पार. I mean, your 282, 272 is as good as 292. It is as good as 302. I mean, it really doesn't make a difference,
Right.
whether it's going to get 300, 320 or 282.
Right.
Does it really make a difference?
see,
Are you
my-
saying that
my
a
only
cricket
reason
match is won by a run or an innings? It
And
doesn't
we are all
matter.
agreeing that BJP is coming to power, and we are
Right.
actually talking about the barriers BJP will cross from 280 onwards.
So the
Right.
reason I'm saying that
Yes.
what Kartikeya said is a very good point.
Yes.
The reason I'm saying that it will increase from 2019, which is
Yes.
303, is because of the geographical expansion of the BJP
Right. It is
into Bengal,
the
into
spread.
Telangana, where I
Yes.
think the BJP is likely to do very well.
Right.
After that, Tamil Nadu, maybe at least a couple of seats they might pick up there. Andhra also, they are in alliance with TDP, so they'll pick up
Yes.
there. So this eastward expansion
Right.
and the southern expansion of BJP
Yes.
will compensate if in case
Right.
they have a few losses. I have one more state which I think is being underestimated for the BJP.
Right.
I think in UP, the BJP is going to perform the 2014 figure,
Right.
closer to 70 rather than 62 like last time,
Right.
because there is no alliance between BSP and Samajwadi Party. Samajwadi
Right.
Party is with Congress, and the BSP votes everywhere is going to divide
Right.
the so-called secular vote, the
Right.
Muslim vote, which will benefit the BJP in a massive way.
So,
even if BSP would do worse than what it did
Right.
in 2019, it will prove to
But
be
my-
that vote
my-
katwa.
My
as they
question
call
to
it.
you is, will this also see collapse of BSP as a political force?
It won't, I don't
Right.
think that it will be a collapse of the BSP, but I think Akhilesh Yadav would realize
Right.
that his whole attempt in the assembly polls previously
Yes.
to change the three-way fight into a two-way horse race
Right.
might have benefited him in terms of seats in the short run,
Yes.
but in the long run, it's a collapse of non-BJP parties.
It's a collapse
They'll
of
never
non-BJP
come to
parties.
power
Yes.
unless the BSP, BJP and Congress come together.
Right, absolutely. And in fact, that's going to be the phenomenon of this election, how the regional parties are going to fare, in this death struggle between the national parties. But that's all we have for this evening in the final episode of the Final Countdown. Thanks for watching.